If you were asked to name a fearless animal, you would probably say lion, tiger, wolf, rhino, or another big and dangerous predator. But according to the Guinness Book of World Records, the world's most fearless creature is the honey badger. Yes, honey badger, you heard right. If you don't believe me, try this. If you Google the world's most fearless creature, who do you find? Likely, you will see this fierce little African animal in the results. The honey badger, also known as the rattle, is a mammal native to areas of Africa and Asia, from southern Morocco to Africa's southern tip, and western Asia's Caspian Sea, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, and western India. They live mainly in dry areas, but are also found in forests and grasslands. As suggested by their name, honey badgers have always been associated with bees. Apart from man, they are the most destructive mammalian predators of honeybees in Africa, and they can and do cause substantial losses to both traditional and commercial beekeepers. While honey is not a necessary part of a honey badger's diet, the highly nutritious bee brood is a sought-after delicacy, and this brings them into conflict with beekeepers. The honey part of their name also comes from a supposed relationship they have with the honey guide birds. The honey guide bird can locate honey in a bee's nest, but is unable to get the honey for itself, so it guides the badger to the nest. The badger cannot find the nest easily by itself, but once shown the nest by the bird, the badger can open the nest with relative ease using its huge claws. The badger eats the honey it wants, and the bird feeds on the remains. Despite popular belief, there is no evidence that honey guides guide the honey badger. Honey badgers are the largest terrestrial mustelids in Africa. Adults measure 23 to 28 centimeters, 9.1 to 11 inches in shoulder height, and 55 to 77 centimeters, 22 to 30 inches in body length, with the tail adding another 12 to 30 centimeters, 4.7 to 11.8 inches. Females are smaller than males. In Africa, males weigh 9 to 16 kilograms, 20 to 35 pounds, while females weigh 5 to 10 kilograms, 11 to 22 pounds on average. The mean weight of adult honey badgers from different areas has been reported at anywhere between 6.4 to 12 kilograms, 14 to 26 pounds, with a median of roughly 9 kilograms, 20 pounds per various studies. The honey badger is mostly solitary, but has also been sighted in Africa to hunt in pairs during the breeding season in May. It also uses old burrows of aardvark, warthog, and termite mounds. It is a skilled digger, able to dig tunnels into the hard ground in 10 minutes. These burrows usually have only one entry, are usually only 1 to 3 meters, 3.3 to 9.8 feet long, with a nesting chamber that is not linked with any bedding. Honey badgers usually only attack when surprised by predators, which often happens when they're digging. With poor eyesight and their noses in the ground, they can be oblivious to their surroundings. The honey badger has the least specialized diet of the weasel family, next to the wolverine. It accesses a large part of its food by digging it out of burrows. It favors honey and often searches for beehives. It also feeds on insects, frogs, tortoises, turtles, lizards, rodents, snakes, birds, and eggs. When foraging for vegetables, it lifts stones or tears bark from trees. Some individuals have even been observed to chase away lion cubs from kills. It devours all parts of its prey, including skin, hair, feathers, flesh, and bones, holding their food down with their forepaws. It feeds on a wide range of vertebrates and seems to subsist primarily on small vertebrates. Honey badgers studied in Kaglagati Transfrontier Park preyed largely on geckos and skinks, gerbils, and mice. The bulk of their prey comprise species weighing more than 100 grams, 3.5 ounces, such as cobras, young African rock python, and South African springhare. In the Kalahari, honey badgers were also observed to attack domestic sheep and goats, kill and eat black mambas. So, what makes honey badgers so tough? Honey badgers have many reasons to be fearless. They have very thick, rubbery skin, which is so tough that it's been shown to be nearly impervious to traditionally made arrows and spears. Further, their skin can take a full blow from a sharp machete without necessarily cutting the skin all the way through. More practically, this skin helps protect the honey badger from the teeth of predators. Along with being thick and very tough, the honey badger's skin is also fairly loose, which allows it quite a bit of freedom of movement within the skin. This particularly aids it when it's being attacked by larger predators and finds itself in the predator's clutches. It can then squirm about in its skin and get its long claws and mouth with sharp teeth in such a position to harm the predator that's holding it. This makes it particularly unsafe for an animal to hold the honey badger in its jaws unless it kills it instantly, which is difficult. The honey badger can simply squirm around and viciously attack the creature's face and eyes. While the honey badger might ultimately die in such an encounter, the animal that killed it will likely think twice before attacking another honey badger. It turns out there is almost no safe place to hold a honey badger without it being able to get itself in a position to attack you. It is thought that if you manage to grab the honey badger by the back of the neck and hold it at arm's length in the air, that this may be a safe way to hold one, but not a lot of volunteers are out there to test this theory. Along with sharp teeth, honey badgers also have incredibly powerful jaws. This is helpful because the honey badger will eat every part of its prey, including the bones. The jaws are even powerful enough to eat a turtle, including the shell, without difficulty. Not only this, but they are naturally not very affected by many types of stings and venom. They can even get bitten by king cobras and puff adders multiple times with little effect, though a strike from something like a puff adder that manages to actually penetrate their skin will eventually knock the honey badger out for a couple hours. Although it is not known exactly how the honey badger's body resists the effects of these type of deadly venom, it is thought that if the snakes could strike them enough, it's likely the venom would eventually kill the honey badger. Unfortunately for the snake, though, they are unlikely to survive long enough in a battle with the honey badger to strike it enough to kill it. Further, it takes time for the venom to take effect, so even if they manage to knock it out, the snake will likely already be dead when this happens. Along with its innate toughness, the honey badger is also incredibly intelligent. It has even been observed using tools to catch prey. Interestingly, the honey badger also has a reversible anal pouch which has an incredibly strong, stifling odor. They have been observed to use this stench as an additional form of defense against large predators like lions. This combination of remarkable innate defensive and offensive capabilities has resulted in the honey badger seemingly fearing few things. Their aggressiveness has also resulted in few predators, which normally might try to eat something the honey badger's size, choosing to avoid the animal. Even predators such as lions and leopards tend to give the honey badger a large berth, though honey badgers have been known to be killed by lions and leopards. At the same time, though, they've also been observed to chase lions off of a kill and take it for their own, including one instance where 3 honey badgers chased off 7 lions from a kill the lions were eating. Fearless indeed.
It's a given that honey badgers are nuts, but how nuts are they? Have you ever seen a mother honey badger take on 2 jackals to defend her cub? Do you think a honey badger can kill a python? If you want to see one of the most exciting animals in the world, keep watching as we look at the top 17 moments when honey badgers show the competition just how nuts they are.
It's a crocodile! Whoa!
Number 17. Honey badger versus lizard. Simply watch this video to discover how a honey badger decimates a strong monitor lizard to demonstrate how enraged they can be. The tour de force is unquestionably when the badger smashes and tears out a portion of the lizard's nose. You can see the badger digging its enormous claws into the lizard. Other than the wolverine, there isn't another animal as crazy as this. Number 16. Honey badger versus zebra. Here's another instance of how fearless honey badgers are. The mother of a juvenile honey badger runs up to a group of zebras and scares the living daylights out of them as the young honey badger approaches them out of curiosity. She then takes her kid with her and flees in the opposite direction. The irrational honey badger is unlike any other mammal. A honey badger hanging onto a zebra butt in this nighttime video illustrates that honey badgers will pursue any available meal. Two badgers take advantage of this unexpected gift they discover while out foraging quite late at night. Number 15. Honey badger versus mongoose. This video demonstrates that despite the mongoose's fearless and lethal hunting style, which is like that of honey badgers, it cannot compete with the latter. When a honey badger has finished eating, there will be almost no trace of the mongoose that we can witness being devoured by the badger. Everyone knows how crazy honey badgers are, but the mongoose is no slouch either. I'm sure one-on-one, the honey badger would destroy a mongoose, like you just saw in the previous video. But what about an entire colony of mongooses chasing a honey badger, just like in this video? The honey badger is smart and knows it's outnumbered 20 to 1, so it hops along and leaves the area. The mongooses do not insist when they see the honey badger leave, because they know a fight with the crazy animal is not worth it, even though there are 20 of them. Number 14. Honey badger versus scorpion. A honey badger meets a red-clawed scorpion on the wrong side of town and attacks it with sharp claws and pointed teeth so it can be chewed into pieces and eaten. The venom vaccines for this honey badger are under development. The scorpion's venom is the badger's training wheels. However, compared to cobras, their sting is not as toxic. The badger places himself directly in front of the tail since he is aware of the procedure. The badger endures a scorpion sting directly on the nose that hurts like a hot knife through flesh, yet he doesn't give up. The badger wants the scorpion to keep firing its venom bombs, and the scorpion obliges. The badger obtains what he wants, disassembles the deadly weapon, and then enjoys his snack. That's what I call getting your shots on time. The real badass of the animal realm is the honey badger. He demonstrates how to dig up and consume a scorpion in this video. The honey badger is rarely troubled by other animals. Number 13. Honey badger chases a civet. The honey badger isn't afraid to take on a challenge, and when it comes across a civet on the side of the road, the two fight. This is an incredibly rare encounter because seeing either of these animals, let alone both together, is challenging. The protagonists take the fight to the middle of the road, and it doesn't seem to bother them in the least. The honey badger finally realizes where he is and flees, followed closely by the civet. A honey badger gave a civet who dared intrude on his territory the scare of his life when he pursued the animal and chased him away. Although civets and badgers are equal opponents, the civet fled because it is not as insane as the badger. Two of the more secretive creatures of the African bush meet the Moremi Game Reserve. Honey badgers have a reputation as being fearless, but the African civet stood its ground. Watch how it stands sideways to the honey badger, showing its impressive silhouette with long hair standing upright on its neck, back, and tail. Number 12. Badger hunting young rabbits. We have seen badgers dig for scorpions. Well, in this video, this badger is digging for something much fluffier, bunny rabbits, and he's loving it. He's not happy with just one, because he even runs after the rabbits trying to escape. Meanwhile, chasing one of the rabbits gives way for the other rabbits to run for the hills. While on the prowl, this badger encountered a bunny rabbit and prepped it for the upcoming Easter holidays. The only thing missing was the wrapping paper. This cub is clearly not hunting rabbits, but just galloping through the set when he stumbles on one. Rabbits are always present in the set and presumably share the tunnels underground, so the cub should know all about them. Badgers have relatively poor eyesight, so he may not have been quite sure just what did appear in front of him until he picked up the scent. Number 11. Badger and raccoon dogfight. The raccoon dog is named for the resemblance of its masked face to that of the common raccoon, a procyanid to which it is not closely related. In this video, a badger attacks a raccoon dog minding its own business, munching on some food. After chasing the raccoon dog away, the badger returns to eat what the raccoon dog was munching on. There seems to be a territorial dispute between badgers and raccoon dogs in this video. A It's very difficult to tell which is which because they look alike, but they seem to be neighbors and they don't like it. Number 10. Honey badger versus snake. In our thumbnail, a honey badger can be seen crushing a snake, which is something quite common in the world of this deadly and dangerous predator. Keep watching, and you'll see more of this crazy animal taking on more snakes. African honey badgers are brave, and this amazing safari sighting illustrates how much strength they possess relative to their size. The python in this video got more than it bargained for when it encountered the badger. The badger attacked this enormous serpent numerous times, moving swiftly and waited for the ideal opportunity to strike. Wildlife enthusiasts reportedly saw a honey badger carrying an African rock python across an airstrip while on a safari drive in the far northern region of the Kruger National Park. A leopard, according to the onlookers, is what originally killed the python. This time, a honey badger chases a Cape cobra. I must admit, I have never seen an animal so excited to see a cobra. However, the honey badger is overjoyed since it knows it will get to eat the snake. A honey badger encounters a puff adder while out on a nocturnal hunt, and it doesn't take long for the badger to kill and consume the snake. The badger was already bitten by the adder, so the venom was released. Therefore, after killing the snake, the badger became unconscious. It's no trouble. Simply put, the honey badger will have breakfast waiting for him when he wakes up. This is not a honey badger. Rather, it is a different kind of badger, most likely an American or European badger that has killed a rattlesnake. No matter where they are from, badgers seem to be as tough as nails. Number 9. Honey badger versus porcupine. How do you think a honey badger would handle the prickly animal, considering how difficult porcupines are for lions and leopards to handle? He simply runs. Thus, he must be smarter than cats. He doesn't do this out of fear of the porcupine, but rather because he is aware that the trouble would not be worth the quills, even if he were to succeed in killing the animal. Although these badgers are insane, they're not stupid. Number 8. Honey badger eat turtle. The animals are still able to be seen in high numbers during early morning or late afternoon safari drives in February, despite the warmer weather. This unusual video demonstrates the honey badger's cunning attempt to get the turtle out of its shell by shoving sand in its face. The badger waits for an opportunity to grab the turtle by the head and eat it while the turtle continually pushes the sand back out. Rare footage of a honey badger killing and devouring a sizable leopard tortoise in the wild was obtained. A tracker saw this unusual encounter while wildlife enthusiasts were returning from sundowners as they passed via a little drainage line. This honey badger fights an unlucky turtle and breaks through its shell to get to the treats. Honey badgers are renowned for their tenacity and fearlessness. Number 7. Honey badger versus crocodile. The honey badger is bringing the little crocodile it killed back to its home base to feast on it. This crocodile was the perfect size for this honey badger to handle. Believe it or not, a crocodile is the prey that the honey badger is seeking in this video. Despite the crocodile's small size, it is nonetheless impressive that the badger can defeat such a strong foe. A few bite scars are left on the crocodile after the honey badger eventually loses interest and wanders away, leaving it to ponder what was the crazy animal that just attacked it. Number 6. Badger versus fox. Watch as a badger brutally mutilates a curious fox. The fox seems to be the unfortunate victim of an alley mugging, since everything is moving too quickly for him to respond. The situation depicted in this video happened at Yellowstone National Park, where it is forbidden to approach foxes or badgers within 25 yards of them, or to cause them harm in any way. Even though the parents do all they can to protect the puppies from a badger attack, the badger nonetheless manages to enter the den and kill one of the pups. This enormous honey badger drives a fox away from its den when it tries to seize it. The fox is dwarfed by the badger. Instead of munching Mae West and donuts, this chubby badger should think about starting a ketogenic diet. Number 5. Honey badger hunting rat. A honey badger was taking an early morning stroll when it spotted a small hole. When it peeked inside, it saw a cute mouse and decided to take it back home for dinner. Only the mouse didn't know it was going to be the main course. This honey badger isn't preparing the ground for his new home's foundation by digging a hole in it. He locates a rat while searching. When the rat escapes, he becomes a sitting duck for one of the world's deadliest predators. In this video, a honey badger is seen exploring and digging for little mice. After finding one delectable rodent, he wants something bigger, so he digs another hole and uses his strength and sharp claws to dig further. The honey badger is one step ahead of the game when it comes to blocking the secret escape routes the rodents build, a common practice among species that reside deep below. He locates the 2 secret exits, seals them off, and permanently blocks them. The honey badger will soon be rewarded for all his cunning and strength with a tasty, succulent mouse. Although honey badgers can't see very well, they have a keen sense of smell that is far stronger than ours. Just now, this honey badger caught a scent of something delicious. The Namaqua rock rat is a little rodent that excels at playing hide and seek. When everyone is after you, you need a cunning strategy, one that will deter predators. In Namibia, the sweet thorn tree is widespread. Its pointed spikes create an impassable barrier of 2-inch thorns that serves as a fortress. The honey badger will have to devise a way to get inside if he wants a meal. The rat is getting painful jabs while being protected by a thick, rubbery hide that allows him to pass the first few branches. This is the traditional method of taking out prey by the honey badger. The prey is being caught in thorns as the predator prepares to attack by pinning it with its claws. The rock rat's strategy is succeeding. He is merely avoiding danger, but the honey badger perseveres and endures the thorns. Despite staring death in the face, the rat nonetheless musters the grit to bite into the badger's tongue, but it's not enough to save his life. Number 4. Honey badger versus hyena. These hyenas proceed cautiously and avoid attacking this honey badger. They essentially test it. They would never do that to an antelope or an impala. They would just rip it apart. The hyenas chase after the badger as it flees, but they are unsure if it is the right move. This nighttime battle pits 2 honey badgers against 2 hyenas, which is a little fairer. There is a lot of growling and taunting between the offenders, but it appears all the animals are exhausted. Honey badgers should not be taken lightly. A lone hyena approaches a crazed honey badger that has just been let out of the nut house with utmost caution. The badger refuses to budge and stands his position until the hyena decides the risk is not worth it. Number 3. Honey badger versus guide bird. A hungry honey badger is led to a bee nest by a guide bird, but the honey badger is not pleased when a curious hyena appears. While the honey badger follows the guide bird to the nest and receives his reward, the non-aggressive hyena keeps to itself. The honey guide bird directs the badger to the bee's nest because it can find honey there, but is unable to get it for itself. The badger struggles to locate the nest on its own, but once the bird points it out, the badger can use its enormous claws to open the nest very quickly. The bird feeds on the leftover honey after the badger consumes the amount it desires. This is a perfect illustration of a symbiotic relationship. The bees indeed bite the badger, but I imagine he's accustomed to it. The shrewd guide bird achieves his goal without exerting much effort or putting his life at risk. Number 2. Honey badger versus wild dogs. In this video, 2 honey badgers and 4 wild dogs engage in a game of cat and mouse. I'm unsure of how honey badgers will react to a pack of wild dogs because everyone knows they're insane. The badgers are serious even though the dogs are having fun. As the badgers charge, the dogs run away. The dogs are aware that the badgers can bite hard. Yet while 2 bother the badgers, 2 of them are rolling in the grass. The dogs exchange bewildered looks as the badgers eventually leave. It's confusing how wild dogs can quickly dismember a large antelope, but struggle to handle a honey badger that weighs 30 pounds. A single honey badger is approached by 3 wild dogs, but does not run away. He confronts the attackers as he flees for safety. Despite being outnumbered and outsized, the wild dogs regard him as a fearsome foe. Number 1. Honey badger versus jackal. These 2 jackals attack a young honey badger, and it looks like it's going to be an easy kill for the 2 scavengers, but they get the surprise of their lives when mom shows up and teaches them not to mess with her cub. The jackals graduate from their honey badgers 101 beginners course with flying colors, and the next time, they will know what they will be up against. An infrared flash camera trap was used to acquire this video. The cameraman captured it by tying down a dead duiker he discovered in a field. It was half eaten when he discovered it, and it made an ideal camera trap bait. On the second day of filming, a side-stripped jackal decided to compete for the carcass with a couple of honey badgers. As tough as honey badgers can be, it seems like the jackal took the prize home this time. The honey badger is one of a kind. How it can scare off hyenas and lions baffles me to this day. Which one was your favorite? Why don't you let us know in the comments below?